As you can see, the Sunday Roundtable is present and accounted for this morning. And joining us are Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh and Republican political analyst Rob Gray. Great to see you guys. You heard Maura Healey this morning. You know what the polls say. She has a sizable lead in the polls. Did you hear anything, any opening for Geoff Diehl to move in, challenge her, break her down on the issues? Marianne, let me start.
I thought Maura Healey had a great performance this morning, but she was especially strong on the reasons that Geoff Diehl shouldn't be governor. And she went through all the issues. And the fact is, Geoff Diehl's on the wrong side of all the issues that matter in this race. And with voters in Massachusetts, he doesn't want privacy in your life from government. He wants the state government and federal government to tell women not to get an abortion. He wants to give tax cuts to the wealthiest. Trickle-down economics, that doesn't work. And you can go down the list. So Geoff Diehl has a ceiling of 1.2 million votes, which is what Trump got here in 2020, and he won't even hit it.
Rob.
I mean, the problem for Diehl is volume. To get volume, you must advertise, and he doesn't have the funding to get volume. If he did have that, I think there are inroads to make if he could get into the slipstream of question one, which is a multi-billion-dollar tax increase. He's opposed to. Maura Healey's for it. And also other issues like crime and illegal immigration. Question 4 on the ballot would also be a good issue for Diehl as well. But he doesn't have the volume to get his message out there. That's his problem.
You heard me ask Healey about changing the 1986 tax cap law passed by voters. Regardless of whether she's the next governor, should the Democratic legislature try to change this, or will the political backlash scare them off?
Well, the backlash would be huge. I don't think they will change it. I mean, could they really stand up and say, let's ignore the law at the same time that they're going after Donald Trump, rightly so, for trying to ignore election laws nationally? No. The law passed, you have to follow it.
Do you think anybody will dare do this, Marianne?
The signs are they're slow walking this. This is not going to happen before the election. I don't even think it may happen till the end of the year. And I think that is the sign that they are going to change it and maybe not refund the full amount to taxpayers and give themselves 2 years to wash this through so they wouldn't pay, they think, a political price for it. So that's what it looks like to me. It is the only explanation to be kicking this can down the road.
Let's talk.
Go ahead. No, I'm just sort of wondering, do you think the governor will then feel the pressure to move the legislature to do it if that happens?
He's a lame duck.
Well, it could be Maura Healey
Or
Geoff Diehl.
And she'll have to deal with it.
Let's talk about the Boston City Council. It went big, it went bold, it gave itself a 20% pay hike, and the mayor more than $40,000 jump to $250,000 a year. These massive hikes would not go into effect, it's somewhat complicated, until their next election. So that means a 5 to 7 year gap without any increases. Marianne, bottom line, did the council do the right thing?
I think Michelle Wu had the better idea, which is to raise the mayor's salary to $230,000, city council to $115,000. That would have been a little more palatable and not as big as the 20% they gave themselves and the mayor. And I think that would make more sense. It is important to make sure there are competitive salaries for public service. We have all learned in the last 2.5 years how important government is, whether it's COVID, natural disasters, and other things. So the increase is warranted, perhaps not as much.
20%. Everyone says 20%. When did I get a 20% raise?
Yeah, it's huge. And voting yourself a pay raise is never a good thing as a politician. But the problem here is who's going to bounce them from office? The elections in Boston are not all that competitive, unfortunately.
So the weekly commute to the Cape has ended for a lot of people, but the hope for Newborn and Sagamore bridges looks pretty glum. The $4 trillion outlined in Biden's infrastructure bill didn't make the first round of approvals in D.C. Did Massachusetts congressional delegation drop the ball on this one, Rob?
Where's the beef? I mean, we have 100% Democratic control in Washington, a 100% Democratic delegation with allegedly a lot of power players in it. They vote for every single funding bill to come down the pike. In fact, they add spending to these spending bills, but they can't get 2 vital bridges in Massachusetts replaced. It's a pretty sorry state of our delegation.
Do you think the delegation should have been more aggressive in lobbying to make sure they got the funding in this first round?
If it doesn't happen in the second round, the next round, then that's a big problem. And you know whose problem it is? Keating, because it's his district. They put him out there front and center to defend the fact it didn't happen the first time, and he really owns it. And I will be very surprised.
And Markey and Warren.
And it's Keating's district, right? And I will be surprised if he does not have a challenger in 2024, either from Dylan Fernandez or Julian Sayer, who really raised their profiles during the immigrant issue going to Martha's Vineyard.
But Markey and Warren does have.
They represent the whole state. They're supposed to be big power players in Washington.
In the end,
right?
Keating owns it, and no surprise.
This this is a weird one, but it might seem like a micro-political issue, but it affects just about every family with kids in sport. Mayor Wu wants to stop the installation of artificial turf in Boston because it's dangerous chemical compounds. Can she win this war, air quotes war, with the synthetic turf industry?
Yes, and she should, because they're filled with carcinogens. And there are plenty of studies out there that show plenty of players who are not only injured on these fields, but get cancer. If you're a goalie, lots of goalies get cancer. Football players, because they're made of old tires and all kinds of carcinogens, go back to grass. It's much better for the environment, much better for your health, and it doesn't cause cancer.
Rob, what's your read?
Number one, it's junk science. Number two, Wu is just kowtowing to her Green New Deal people. I'm for grass. I'm against fields. As the father of a lot of athletes and coach of a lot of teams, completely impractical. She won't care for the grass fields. She's not caring for the grass fields right now. There are syringes all over the fields at Mass and Cass, and football coaches are having to pick them up. Their teams can't even play there.